All right. Hello. I know I'm 10 minutes late, and I know I'm 10 minutes late. I'm certainly not famous enough to do that shit. So I'm going to stop trying, but I don't know, what can I say? Shit fucking happens. But hello, people who are here and stuff, and people who were here and waiting but left, and people who will be here later. Welcome in to another Percy Jackson read stream today on the channel. We are going to be reading chapters 11 through 13 of the Sea of Monsters. I read the chapters 2 through 9 by myself. I didn't read those on stream, but we're going to talk about those a little bit really quickly before we start, and then we'll get into the chapters because I'm really excited to see what happens. I think I stopped in a really good spot for this stream, so I think this will be fun today. But yes, I've read 2 through 9. I'm kind of shocked at how the story has unfolded so far because I did not know it was going to be a rescue arc. And I freaking love rescue arcs. So, ignore that. Ignore that. That's just me making the short for this. But I didn't know it was going to be a rescue arc. I freaking love rescue arcs. And it's like a triple rescue arc. We got to rescue Grover. We got to rescue Percy, because Percy's linked to Grover. We got to rescue Camp Half-Blood, because Luke is destroying the Talia's tree. We got to rescue Talia's tree, because Luke is destroying it. There will be no safe place for Half-Bloods after this. And then we got to rescue Chiron, because if there's no Camp Half-Blood, then Chiron loses immortality. I've never seen a rescue arc with these many interconnected stakes that flow so well together. It doesn't feel like, it feels like so not jumbled. And at first, when I first met Tyson, I was like, okay, he's just a knockoff Grover, like he's just Grover 2. But no, he's he's more than that. He's actually a good character, and he really challenges Percy in like who he is. It's just really cool. I'm really liking this one a lot. I'm really liking Sea of Monsters so far more than I like the Lightning Thief. That's probably because I've seen Lightning Thief so many times when I read the book, and it wasn't like, oh my god, this is amazing, because I've seen it before in the movies and in the show. So yeah, that's what it is. Do I have any more, like, specific thoughts? I thought I had a bunch of specific thoughts that I was gonna have to, like, go through. What, let me remind myself of the chapters really quickly. Tyson plays with fire. That one was sick. Tyson is dope. Play dodgeball with cannibals. That was okay. We held the Eternal Attacks of Torment. That one was interesting. Very The Fates-esque. Again, a new cabin mate like that one. That one was dope. Demon Pigeons attack. Interesting. The chariot race was fun. Nothing special. Accept gifts from a stranger. That one was hard. Hermes showing up out of nowhere? What? That was fire. That was dope. We board the princess. No, we board the Princess Andromeda. That one was cool. I have the worst family reunion ever. That one was also cool. Seeing Luke for the first time again. He was really freaking menacing. Really super evil. I'm still hoping he gets a redemption arc, but we'll see. Nobody spoil me if he doesn't. We hitch a ride with dead Confederates. That one was the one I left off on. Or like they fought the freaking Hydra, and I wish I read that one because at the end, Clarice had like the hypest anime entrance of all time. Like, bro, what did she say? Hold on, this shit was actually fire. Like, she was like, "Losers," she sneered, "but I suppose I have to rescue you. Come aboard." That was so hard. After she had just fired on the Hydra, bro, that was so sick. What? I cannot wait to see more of Clarice. I know I'm gonna like her as a character by the end of this. Sad how Hermes takes 5 minutes to talk to Percy but can't talk to any of his kids. Yeah, that is really sad. I don't understand what that is. But also, what's up, Anthony Belding? Welcome to the stream again. It's nice to have you here. At least I think it's again. I'm pretty sure I remember you from last time. I'm not. I'm sorry. If I think of somebody else, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure it's you. It is sad. I'm like, why wouldn't you just appear to Luke? What's the deal with that? I'm sure we're gonna get some explanation for why he doesn't do that. Unless he's just a weird bitch. But I doubt. But who knows? Who knows? But regardless, it was dope. And Clarice, I'm really excited to see more of her. That's where I stopped. So I want to be like, okay, Clarice hype anime entrance. Now it's Clarice time. Let's read these 3 chapters where we're getting introduced to Clarice and stuff. And finally, I assume, on the direct track to the Sea of Monsters, because it's her boat. on the cover of this book. This is her. This was like how they described her boat, and I remember from the movie, it's like zombies and dead Confederate sailors and whatnot. So I'm not hating on it, but I don't. That's basically all I know. I don't know that. I know what happens in the movie Tribdis and all that nonsense. So we're heading into the Sea of Monsters. I assume, like, more so now, like, actually gonna be on the sea. Because Percy's the main character. Lucas isn't. Yeah, that's gotta be it. Hermes knows. Hermes knows that, listen, Hermes, son, the book isn't called Luke Castellan, okay? The book's called Perfect Jackson. Alright. But I think that's probably gonna do it for my. I have an oatmeal cookie, by the way. Probably gonna be snacking on that through the stream, unless I forget. But I think that's gonna do it. My pre-stream ramble. Okay, good. I do remember you. I'm not an asshole. You'll love to see it. Alright. Yes. Let us get into this here book. Read these here chapters today, fam. Sorry, looking for that. Do I have any important text messages that I need to answer? Any at all? Nope. Okay, cool. Don't care. Alright. Chapter 11. Clarice blows up everything. You are in so much trouble, Clarice said. We just finished a ship tour. We didn't want. Through dark rooms overcrowded with dead sailors, we'd seen the coal bunker, the boilers, and engine, which huffed and groaned like it would explode any minute. We'd seen the pilot house and the powder magazine and gunnery deck, Clarice's favorite. That sounds about right. With 2 Dahlgren smoothbore. What is that word? Dahlgren smoothbore cannons on the port and starboard sides, and in Brook 9-inch rifled gun fore, aft, and all, specially refitted to fire celestial bronze cannonballs. Wow, that's pretty freaking sick, actually. Everywhere we went, dead Confederate sailors stared at us, their ghostly bearded faces shimmering over their skulls. They approved of Annabeth because she told them she was from Virginia. Oh, they're racist. That's so funny. They were interested in me too, because my name was Jackson, like the Southern General. But then I ruined it by telling them I was from New York. They all hissed and muttered curses about Yankees. Tyson was terrified of them. All through the tour, he insisted that Annabeth hold his hand, which she didn't look too thrilled about. Finally, we were escorted to dinner. The CSS Birmingham's captain's quarters. We were about the size of a walk-in closet, but still much bigger than any other room on board. Well, they are Confederate soldiers. I know. It's great. I love it. That's just perfect comedy. I didn't think they were going to include that bit, but that's just hilarious. But still much bigger than any other room on board. The table was set with white linen and china. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, potato chips, and Dr. Pepper were served. God damn it. Every time on stream. Every time. I can't go single stream without burping. We're served by skeletal crewmen. I didn't want to eat anything served by ghosts, but my hunger overrode my fear. Tantalus expelled you for eternity, Clarice told us. Yeah, I guess she left after them. Didn't she? Mr. D said, if any of you show your faces at camp again, he'll turn you into squirrels and run you over with his SUV. Did they give you this ship? I asked. Of course not. My father did. Ares. Clarice sneered. You think your daddy's the only one with sea power? The spirits on the losing side of every war owe tribute to Ares. That's their curse for being defeated. I prayed to my father for a naval transport, and here it is. This is such an interesting world dynamic and power system. I love it. It's so cool. To pray to your dad for naval transport, and he gives it to you. These guys will do anything I tell them, won't you, Captain? The captain stood behind her, looking stiff and angry. His glowing green eyes fixed me with a hunger stare. If it means an end to this infernal war, ma'am, peace at last, we'll do anything. Destroy anyone. Clarice smiled. Destroy anyone. I like that. Clarice is being oddly friendly, but it's only slightly more friendly than she usually is. But I get it's because she's not at camp, and she kind of just saved them, and she has to work with them. So, Clarice, Annabeth said, Luke might be after the fleece too. Clarice, Annabeth, Luke might be after the fleece too. We saw him. He's got the coordinates, and he's heading south. He has a cruise ship full of monsters. Good. I'll blow him out of the water. Okay, hold on. You don't understand. Annabeth said, we have to combine forces. Let us help you. No, Clarice pounded the table. This is my quest, smart girl. Finally, I get to be the hero, and you two will not steal my chance. Dang, very Bakugo of you. Where are your cabin mates? I asked. You were allowed to take 2 friends with you, weren't you? They didn't. I let them stay behind to protect camp. You mean even the people in your own cabin wouldn't help you? Shut up, Percy. I don't need them or you. Dang, they didn't want to go with her. That's crazy. What? Were they scared, or did they just not look like Clarice? What was it? Oh, I don't need them or you. Clarice, I said. Tantalus is using you. He doesn't care about the camp. He'd love to see it destroyed. He's setting you up to fail. No, I don't care what the Oracle... She stopped herself. What? What? I said. What did the Oracle tell you? Nothing. Clarice's ears turned big. No, we need to know what the Oracle told you. We need to know what the Oracle told you. This is important. I need to know what the Oracle told you. All I need to know is that I'm finishing this quest and you're not helping. On the other hand, I can't let you go. So we're prisoners, right? Yes, for now. Clarice propped her feet up on the white linen tablecloth and opened another Dr. Pepper. Captain, take them below. Assign them hammocks on the berth deck. If they don't mind their manners, show them how we deal with enemy spies. The dream came as soon as I fell asleep. Okay, that happened, I guess. Grover was sitting at his loom, desperately unraveling his wedding train. When the boulder door rolled aside and the Cyclops bellowed, "Aha!" Grover yelped, Dear, I didn't. You were so quiet." Unraveling, Polyphemus roared, "So that's the problem!" "Oh no, I wasn't." "Come!" Polyphemus grabbed Grover around the waist and half carried, half dragged him through the tunnels of the cave. Grover struggled to keep his heels on his hooves. His veil kept tilting on his head, threatening to come off. The Cyclops pulled him into a warehouse-sized cavern decorated with sheep junk. There was a wool-covered lazy boy, recliner, and wool-covered television set. Crude bookshelves loaded with sheep collectives, coffee mugs shaped like sheep faces, plaster figurines of sheep board games, and picture books and action figures. The floor was littered with piles of sheep bones and other bones that didn't look exactly like sheep, the bones of satyrs who come to the island looking for Pan. Polyphemus set Grover down, only long enough to move another huge boulder. Daylight streamed into the cave, and Grover whimpered with longing fresh air. The Cyclops dragged him outside to a hilltop overlooking the most beautiful island I'd ever seen. It was shaped kind of like a saddle cut in half by an axe. There were lush green hills on either side and a wide valley in the middle, split by a deep chasm that was spanned by a rope bridge. Wait, hold on. What about a rope bridge? It was shaped kind of like a saddle, and half by an axe. There were lush green hills on either side, and a wide valley in the middle, split by a deep chasm that was spanned by a rope bridge. The beautiful streams rolled to the edge of the canyon and Jesus Christ, with the burping. Dropped off in rainbow-colored waterfalls. Parrots fluttered in the trees. Pink and purple flowers bloomed in the bushes. Hundreds of sheep grazed in the meadows, their wool glinting strangely like copper and silver coins. One thing I never understood is the Percy is the one having dreams, giving him information, and without him, they never would have started the quest. But they don't want him to go. Now, I get it. That makes perfect sense, because you have to understand, one, Tantalus is a bitch, and so is Mr. D, and they both don't like Percy. They both don't like him, and Clarice also doesn't like Percy because of what happened last year. And none of them care about camp. Tantalus and Clarice don't care about camp. No, Tantalus and Mr. D don't care about camp. So they don't actually want Percy to go because, one, they don't like him, and two, they don't give a shit if they need him to complete the quest because they don't want him to succeed. So they're doing it to fuck with him, and they're okay with letting it fail because they just don't like Percy. And Clarice is too prideful to see that Tantalus is fucking with her, and she also doesn't like Percy. She doesn't want to give him the glory, and she doesn't want to help him. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense to me why they would do that, because none of the people who are in charge of the quest don't like Percy, and they don't want him to actually save camp. So why would they help him do that, you know? And at the center of the island, right next to the rope bridge, was an enormous twisted oak tree with something glittering in its lowest bough. The golden fleece. Even in a dream I could feel its power radiating across the island, making the grass greener, the flowers more beautiful. I could almost smell the nature magic at work. I could only imagine how powerful the scent would be for a satyr. I'm curious. Don't answer this, obviously. I'm just talking out loud. But, like, when they get the fleece, right, how is anything going to be dangerous after that? Because, like, I would just, personally, keep it forever, like, as a belt, and then just never die, like, in a battle. You know what I mean? Grover whimpered. Yes, Polyphemus proudly said. See over there? Fleece is the prize of my collection. Stole it from heroes long ago, and ever since, free food, satyrs come all over. Come from all over the world, like moss to flame. Satyrs, good eatin'. And now, Polyphemus scooped up a wicked set of bronze shears. Grover yelped up but Polyphemus just picked up the nearest sheep like it was a stuffed animal and shaved off its wool. Handed the fluffy mass off it to Grover. Put that on the spinning wheel, he said proudly. Magic cannot be unraveled. Oh well. Oh well. Poor Honey Pie, Polyphemus grinned. Bad weaver, not to worry. That thread will solve problem. Finish wedding train by tomorrow. Ice. Damn. Isn't that thoughtful of you? but dear, Grover gulped. What if someone were to attack this island? Grover looked straight at me, and I knew he was asking for my benefit. What would keep them from marching right up here to your cave? Wifey's scared. So cute. Not to worry. Polyphemus has state-of-the-art security system. Have to get through my pets. Oh, monsters. Is that all? Nah, we eat those. We kill monsters for breakfast. It's okay. Grover looked across the island. There was nothing to see except sheep grazing peacefully in the meadows. And then Polyphemus growled. They would have to get through me. He pounded his fist against the nearest rock, which cracked and split in half. Damn. Now come, he shouted. Back to the cave. Grover looked about ready to cry. So close to freedom, but so hopelessly far. Tears welled in his eyes as the boulder door rolled shut, sealing him once again in the stinky torchlit darkness of the Cyclops' cave. I woke to the alarm bells ringing throughout the ship. The captain's gravelly voice. All hands on deck! Sorry. All hands on deck! Find Clarice! Find Lady Clarice! Where's that girl? He has a gravelly voice. You know what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm doing voices again. I decided, I guess. I don't know when I decided I was doing that, but I'm doing them again. If you were there for my manga streams, you know what it is. But now that I'm back doing read streams, I guess I'll do voices. Fuck, I'm so mad at myself. Regardless. Then his ghostly face appeared above me. Get up, Yankee. Your friend's already above. We are approaching the entrance. Oh, what? The entrance to what? He gave me a skeletal smile. The sea of monsters, of course. I stuffed my few belongings that had survived the Hydra into a sailor's canvas knapsack and slung it over my shoulder. I had a sneaking suspicion that one way or another I would not be spending another night aboard the CSS Birmingham. I was on my way upstairs when something made me freeze. A presence nearby. Something familiar and unpleasant. For no particular reason. I felt like picking a fight. I wanted to punch a dead Confederate. Ooh, is Ares here? What? There's no way. The last time I felt like that kind of anger. Instead of going up, I crept to the edge of the ventilation grate and peered down into the boiler deck. Clarice was standing right below me, talking to an image that shimmered in the steam from the boilers. A muscular man in a black leather biker coat, with a military haircut, red-tinted glasses, and a knife strapped to his side. My fists clenched. It was my least favorite Olympian. Ares, the god of war. Yeah, Me and Cuzzo don't really get along. I kinda had to beat his ass last summer to stop the end of the world. You know how it is. So we're not kinda friends anymore because he's evil and I'm kinda not. I don't want excuses, little girl, he growled. Yes, father, Clarice mumbled. Yes, father. Clarice, I don't know I can't do girl voices, but I could try. You don't want to see me mad, do you? No, father. No, father. No, father. Ares mimicked. You're pathetic. I should have let one of my sons take this quest. Ooh. Damn, Ares. He is not playing with Clarice. I really like what they're setting up with Clarice and her character. Because last book, she was just a bitch. She was just a bully. She was just a bitch. But this book, especially right now, they've already set up Clarice, like, in these first couple of pages of, like, her really being, like, a prominent character in the story, who we're going to see from farther on, especially in the first bit as well. They're setting her up as, like, definitely a more interesting character, like somebody with something to prove, which I really like. Honestly, with the way they describe Clarice, you could use a guy's voice. Yeah, that's actually true. That's true. But I picture her as Dior in my mind. The girl who plays her in the live action Percy series. I'll succeed, Clarice promised, her voice trembling. I'll make you proud. You'd better, he warned. You asked me for this quest, girl. If you let that slimeball Jackson kid steal it from you. Oh, but her and Percy are gonna become best friends. I know it. I just know it in my heart. What's it? If you don't, he raised his fist. Even though he was only a figure in the steam, Clarice flinched. Do we understand each other? Damn, Ares. You gonna hit your daughter like that? I mean, I don't, it doesn't surprise me, but still, man. The alarm bells rang. I heard voices coming toward me. Officers yelling orders to ready the cannons. I crept back from the ventilation gate and made my way upstairs to join Annabeth and Tyson on the spar deck. What's wrong? Annabeth asked me. Another dream? I nodded, but I didn't say anything. I didn't know what to think about what I'd seen downstairs. It bothered me almost as much as the dream about Grover. Clarice came up the stairs right after me. I tried not to look at her. She grabbed a pair of binoculars from a zombie officer and peered down the horizon. At last, Captain! Full steam ahead! I looked in the same direction as she was, but I couldn't see much. The sky was overcast, the air was hazy, and humid like steam from an iron. If I squinted real hard, I could just make out a couple of dark, fuzzy splotches in the distance. My nautical senses told me we were somewhere off the coast of northern Florida. No shit. Anyways, so I don't think you need nautical senses to know you're near Florida, Percy. So we'd come a long way overnight, farther than any mortal ship should have been able to travel. All right, never mind. I was immediately proven wrong. Fair enough. The engine groaned as we increased speed. Tyson muttered nervously, Too much strain on the pistons. Not meant for deep water. Tyson has nautical senses too. You love to see it. Dude, he's Poseidon's son. I wasn't sure how he knew that, but it made me nervous. After a few more minutes, the dark splotches ahead of us came into focus. Then, to the north, a huge mass of rock rose out of the sea, an island with cliffs at least 100 feet tall. But half a mile south of that, the other patch of darkness was a storm brewing. The sky and sea boiled together in a roaring mass. Hurricane, Hurricane? Annabeth asked. No, Clarice said. Tribdis. Let's go. Annabeth paled. Are you crazy? Only way into the Sea of Monsters. Straight between Tribdis and her sister Scylla. Clarice pointed to the top of the cliffs, and I got the feeling something lived up there that I did not want to meet. What do you mean the only way? I asked. The sea is wide open. Just sail around them. Exactly what I was thinking. That is exactly what I was thinking. Clarice rolled her eyes. Don't you know anything? If I tried to sail around them, they would just appear in my path again. If you want to get to the Sea of Monsters, you have to sail through them. All right? Immediately answer my question. What about the clashing rocks? Annabeth said. That's another gateway. Jason used it. I can't blow apart rocks with my cannons, Clarice said. Monsters, on the other hand. You are crazy, Annabeth asked. Watch and learn, wise girl. I actually like Clarice a lot. Clarice turned to the captain. Set course for Charybdis. Aye, milady. The engine groaned. The iron plating rattled, and the ship began to pick up speed. Clarice, I said. Charybdis sucks up the sea. Isn't that the story? And spits it back out again, yeah. What about Scylla? She lives in a cave up on those cliffs. If we get too close, her snaky heads will come down and start plucking sailors off the ship. Choose Scylla then, I said. Everybody goes below deck, and we chug right past. No, Clarice said. If Scylla doesn't get her easy meat, she might pick up the whole ship. Besides, she's too high to make a good target. My cannons can't shoot straight, but Charybdis sits right at the center of the whirlwind. We're going to steam straight toward her, train our guns on her, and lower her to Tartarus. All right, Clarice seems pretty smart, actually. She said it with such relish, I almost wanted to believe her. The engine hummed. The boilers were heating up so much I could feel the deck getting warm beneath my feet. The smokestacks below, the red Ares flag whipped in the wind. As we got closer to the monsters, the sound of Charybdis got louder and louder. A horrible wet roar like the galaxy's biggest toilet being flushed. Every time Charybdis inhaled, the ship shuddered and lurched forward. Every time she exhaled, we rose in the water and were buffeted by 10-foot waves. I tried to time the whirlpool as near as I could figure. It took Charybdis about... Wait, hold on. Every time Charybdis inhaled, the ship shuddered and lurched forward. Every time she exhaled, we rose in the water. Okay. I tried to time the whirlpool as near as I could figure. It took Charybdis about 3 minutes to suck up and destroy everything within a half-mile radius. To avoid her, we would have to skirt right next to Scylla's cliffs, and as bad as Scylla might be, those cliffs were looking awfully good to me. Undead sailors calmly went about their business on the spar deck. I guess they'd fought a losing cause before, so this didn't bother them. Maybe they didn't care about getting destroyed because they were already deceased. Neither thought made me feel any better. Annabeth stood next to me, gripping the rail. You still have your thermosful wind? I nodded, but it's too dangerous to use the with a whirlpool like that. More wind might just make things worse. What about controlling the water? She asked. You're Poseidon's son. You've done it before. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. She was right. I closed my eyes and tried to calm the sea, but I couldn't concentrate. Charybdis was too loud and powerful. The waves wouldn't respond. I can't, I said miserably. We need a backup plan, Annabeth said. This isn't going to work. Annabeth is right, Tyson said. Engine's no good. What do you mean? What do you mean? She asked. Pressure. Pistons need fixing. Before he could explain, the cosmic toilet flushed with a mighty roar. The ship lurched forward and I was thrown to the deck. We were in the whirlpool. Full reverse! Clarice screamed above the noise. The sea churned around us, waves crashing over the deck. The iron plating was now so hot it steamed. Got us within firing range. Make ready starboard cannons. Dead Confederates rushed back and forth. The propeller grinded into reverse, trying to slow. The propeller grinded into reverse. No, I don't know. Why did I read that as Clarice was still yelling? The dead Confederates rushed back and forth. The propeller grinded into reverse, trying to slow the ship, but we kept sliding toward the center of the vortex. A zombie sailor burst out of the hold and ran to Clarice. His gray uniform was smoking. His beard was on fire. Boiler room overheating, ma'am. She's going to blow. We'll get down there and fix it. Can't, sailor yelled. We're vaporizing in the heat. Clarice pounded the side of the casemate. All I need is a few more minutes, just to get in range. We're going in too fast, Captain said grumbling. Prepare yourself for death. No, Tyson bellowed. I can fix it. Clarice looked at him. You? He's a Cyclops, Annabeth said. He's immune to fire, and he knows mechanics. Go! Yelled Clarice. Tyson, no! I grabbed his arm. It's too dangerous. Percy, if you don't let this man go, bro. If we don't let this man go, he needs to, dude. He needs to do it. He patted my hand. Only way, brother. I love Tyson, bro. Tyson's such a great character, dude. Who is texting me right now? Alright, you can wait. Hold on. Yeah, you can wait. His expression was determined, confident even. I'd never seen him look this way before. I will fix it. Be right back. As I watched him follow the smoldering sailor down the hatch, I had a terrible feeling. I wanted to run after him, but the ship lurched again. and then I saw Charybdis. She appeared only a few hundred yards away. Through a swirl of mist and smoke and water, the first thing I noticed was the reef and black crag of coral with a fig tree clinging to the top, an oddly peaceful thing in the middle of the maelstrom. All around it, water curved into a funnel, like light around a black hole. Damn, what a description. Then I saw the horrible thing anchored to the reef, just below the waterline, an enormous mouth with slimy lips and mossy teeth the size of rowboats, and worse, the teeth had braces. Bands of corroded, scummy metal with pieces of fish and driftwood floating garbage stuck between them. Charybdis was an orthodontist's nightmare. She was nothing but a huge black maw with bad teeth alignment and a serious overbite. And she'd done nothing for centuries but eat without brushing after meals. As I watched, the entire sea around her was sucked into the void. Sharks, schools of fish, a giant squid, and I realized that in a few seconds, the SS Birmingham would be next. "Lady Clarice!" the captain shouted. "Starboard and forward! Guns are in range!" "Fire!" Clarice ordered. 3 rounds were blasted in the monster's maw. One blew off the edge of the incisor. Another disappeared into her gullet. The third hit one of Clarice's retaining bands and shot back at us, snapping the Aries flag off its pole. "Again!" Clarice ordered. The gun is reloaded, but I knew it was hopeless. We'd have to pound the monster 100 more times to do any real damage, and we didn't have that long. We were being sucked in too fast. Then the vibration of the deck changed. The hum of the engine got stronger and steadier. The ship shuddered, and we started pulling away from the south. "Tyson did it," Annabeth said. "Wait," Clarice said. "Wait, just stay close. We'll die," I said. "We have to move away." I gripped the rail as the ship fought against the suction. The broken Aries flag raced past us and lodged into Charybdis's braces. We weren't making much progress, but at least we were holding our own. Clarice had somehow given us just enough juice to keep the ship from being sucked in. Suddenly, the mouth snapped shut. The sea died to absolute calm. Water rushed over Charybdis. Ooh. Oof. Then just as quickly as it closed, the mouth exploded open, spitting out a wall of water, ejecting everything inedible, including our cannonballs. One of which slammed to the side of the CSS Birmingham with a ding like the bell on a carnival game. We were thrown backward on a wave that must have been 40 feet high. I used all my willpower to keep the ship from capsizing, but we were still spinning out of control. Hurtling towards the cliffs on the opposite side of the strait, another smoldering sailor burst out of the hold. He stumbled into Clarice, almost knocking them both overboard. "The engine is about to blow!" "Where's Tyson?" I demanded. "Still down there," the sailor said, "holding it together. Somehow though, I don't know for how much longer." The captain said, "We have to abandon ship." "No!" Clarice yelled. "We have no choice, milady. The hull was already cracked apart. She can't—" He never finished his sentence. Quick as lightning, something brown and green shot from the sky, snatched up the captain and lifted him away. All that was left were his boots. "Scylla!" a sailor yelled, as another column of reptilian flesh shot from the cliffs and snapped him up. It happened so fast. It was like watching a laser beam rather than a monster. I couldn't even make out the thing's face, just a flash of teeth and scales. Dang. I uncapped Riptide and tried to swipe it at the monster as it carried off another deckhand, but I was way too slow. "Everyone get below!" I yelled. "We can't!" Clarice drew her sword. "Below deck is in flames!" "Lifeboat," Emma said. "Quick! They never get clear of the cliffs," Clarice said. "We'll all be eaten." "We have to try! Percy, the thermos! I can't leave Tyson! We have to get the boats ready!" Clarice took Annabeth's command. She and a few of her undead sailors uncovered one of the 2 emergency rowboats, while Scylla's head rained from the sky like a meteor shower with teeth, picking off Confederate sailors one after another. "Get the other boat!" I threw Annabeth the thermos. "I'll get Tyson." "You can't," she said. "The heat will kill you." I didn't listen. I ran for the boiler room hatch, when suddenly my feet weren't touching the deck anymore. I was flying straight up, the wind whistling in my ears, the side of the cliff only inches from my face. Dang. Well, Scylla had somehow caught me by the knapsack, and I was lifting up toward her lair. Without thinking, I swung my sword behind me and managed to jab the thing in her beady yellow eye. She grunted and dropped me. The fall would have been bad enough considering I was 100 feet in the air, but as I fell, the SS Birmingham exploded below me. Kaboom! Damn. Damn! The engine room blew, sending chunks of ironclad flying in either direction like a fiery set of wings. Tyson! I yelled. Lifeboats had managed to get away from the ship, but not very far. Flaming wreckage was raining down, and Clarice and Annabeth would either be smashed or burned or pulled to the bottom by the force of the sinking hull. And that was thinking optimistically, assuming they got away from Scylla. Then I heard a different kind of explosion, the sound of Hermes' magic thermos being opened a little too far away, while white sheets of wind blasted in every direction, scattering the lifeboats, lifting me out of a free fall and propelling me across the ocean. I couldn't see anything. I spun in the air, got clonked on the head by something hard, and hit the water with a crash. It would have broken every bone in my body if I hadn't been the son of the sea god. The last thing I remembered was sinking in a burning sea, knowing that Tyson was gone forever, wishing I were able to drown. Never let Clarice lead a quest ever again. You said it, dude. What? Hold on. I need a second to process what I just read. That might be my favorite chapter I've read so far, including Lightning Thief chapters. My favorite chapter was I battle my jerk relative when he fought Ares. That one was really sick. But this might even be a better action chapter than that, dude. Freaking. Oh, that's so fire. What? They get on the ship, they head towards Charybdis or Scylla, and they're caught in between both of them. Clarice is constantly trying to fire, taking it head on. They know it's not going to work. They're not listening to Tyson. Tyson has to go downstairs and fix a thing. You don't see him forever, but he's resistant to fire. Percy is constantly trying to defend the soldiers, but he can't do it. Freaking Annabeth isn't really doing anything. Clarice is just constantly trying to fire, not giving up. She won't abandon freaking ship. Percy gets launched into the air. He gets launched into the air, snagged by Scylla. And then snagged by Scylla, and he also, is this Scylla? Did I just notice that on the picture? Is this Scylla? The snake thing? But like, I thought that was the Hydra, but I think this is Scylla. He is snagged by Scylla. He hits her in the eye. It falls down. The ship explodes. Fucking explodes. And he falls into the ocean, where he and Tyson are the only people who are completely safe, because everybody else is not on Poseidon. So even if his bones did break, he's literally in the ocean right now, and they're healing instantly. And he can't drown. He can breathe underwater. So he's just there, chilling. I don't know why, but I didn't think they would do that to Percy. I didn't think they'd just put him in the ocean alone like that, which is honestly a crazy place to put him. And also, Charybdis is still there. Charybdis, he didn't fly that far away. Not that far. Charybdis and Scylla, they're still there, bro. No, that was a fire chapter, dude. That was a fire action chapter, and just a chapter in general. I can't wait to see that adapted. I cannot wait to see that adapted. That was sick. The way they described the monster was terrifying. No wonder no one wanted to join Clarice. Yeah. No, that's facts, actually. If I was a camper and I was like, yeah, we gotta go through Scylla. We gotta go past Scylla and Charybdis at the same time. And I heard Clarice's crazy plan. I'd be like, oh, fuck no, actually. Actually, no, I'm not doing that. No, thank you. That's just not what I'm about to do. Let me look up actually pictures of Scylla really quickly. Oh. I see. Let me look up pictures of Charybdis as well. Dang. Charybdis is freaky looking, dude. Charybdis is freaky as shit. But alright. That was fire. That was freaking hard. Hold on. Oatmeal cookie and water time. Now you have to wonder if Percy is brave to fight these monsters or he just doesn't know what he's getting into. I think the way I'm reading it, and he's described, Percy is just blindly brave and about that action. Like, I wouldn't say he just blindly rushes headlong into danger, but he never understands the full depth of the battle he's about to undertake. This man is always running into danger. And he's like, and every time he's like, oh shit, this is a lot more dangerous than I thought it was. Why am I here? And then he just has to pull some shit out of his ass or fails. It's just what it is. That's just what happens every time. I'm sure we're gonna see. One thing I'm interested in, the Chimera never came back in Lightning Thief. So I wonder if we're gonna see that. I'm sure you will later in other chapters, other books maybe. But yeah, we're gonna get back right into the next chapter because I really want to see what happens next. Damn. Alright, I'm over halfway done with this book now. I officially have less to go than I have read. Alright, chapter 12. We check into the CC Spawn Resort. Who the fuck is we? You're by myself. I woke up in a rowboat with a makeshift sail stitched to the gray uniform fabric. Annabeth sat next to me, tacking into the wind. Oh, that's kind of upsetting. I kind of was hoping Percy was just laying there in the ocean by himself. But it's nice to see Annabeth okay. I tried to sit up and immediately felt woozy. Rest, she said. You're going to need it. Tyson? She shook her head. Percy, I'm really sorry. We were silent while the waves tossed up and down. He may have survived, she said half-heartedly. I mean, fire can't kill him. Real question, though. Is it more brave running into a fight knowing how bad it is? Or is it more brave running into the fight blind? It's stupid running into a fight blind. It's more brave knowing how bad it is. It's like, you're just objectively dumb being like, alright, time to fucking run into fight this dude, and not knowing he's a god, you know what I mean? Fire can't kill him. I nodded, but I had no reason to feel hopeful. I'd seen the explosion rip through solid iron. If Tyson had been down in the boiler room, there was no way he could have lived. He'd given his life for us, and all I could think about were the times I felt embarrassed by him, and I denied that the two of us were related. Waves laughed at the boat. Annabeth showed me some things she'd salvaged from the wreckage. Hermes' thermos, now empty, a Ziploc bag full of ambrosia, a couple of sailor shirts, and a bottle of Dr. Pepper. She fished me out of the water, and I found my knapsack bitten in half. It takes some serious courage being that ignorant. That is true. That is true. Bitten in half by Scylla's teeth. Most of my stuff had floated away, but I still had Hermes' bottle of multivitamins, and of course I had Riptide. He hasn't even taken one of those yet. The ballpoint pen always appeared back in my pocket, no matter where I lost it. We sailed for hours. Now that we're in the Sea of Monsters, the water glittered a more brilliant green, like Hydra acid. The wind smelled fresh and salty, but it carried a strange metallic scent too. As if a thunderstorm were coming, or something even more dangerous. I knew what direction we needed to go. I knew we were exactly 113 nautical miles west by northwest of our destination. But that didn't make me feel any less lost. No matter which way we turned, the sun seemed to shine straight into my eyes. We took turns sipping from Dr. Pepper, shading ourselves with the sail as best as we could. And we talked about my last dream of Grover. By Annabeth's estimate, we had less than 24 hours to find Grover, assuming my dream was accurate, and assuming the Cyclops Polyphemus didn't change his mind and try to marry Grover earlier. Yeah, I said bitterly. You can never trust a Cyclops, Annabeth stared across the water. I'm sorry, Percy. I was wrong about Tyson, okay? I wish I could tell him that. I tried to stay mad at her, but it wasn't easy. We'd been through a lot together. She'd saved my life plenty of times. It was stupid of me to resent her. I looked down at our measly possessions, the empty wind thermos, the bottle of multivitamins. I thought about I thought about Luke's look of rage when I tried to talk to him about his dad. Annabeth, Annabeth, what's Chiron's prophecy? Well, hold on, let me read that again. Well, I'm sorry, I tried to stay mad at her, but it wasn't easy. We've been through a lot together. She saved my life plenty of times. It was stupid of me to resent her. I looked down at our measly possessions, the empty wind thermos, the bottle of multivitamins. I thought about Luke's look of rage when I tried to talk to him about his dad. And why? Annabeth, what's Chiron's prophecy? She pursed her lips. Percy, I know. Chiron promised the gods he wouldn't tell me. But you didn't promise, did you? No, just not always good for you. Your mom is the goddess of wisdom. Exactly. Like, shut up, Annabeth. I know. But every time heroes learn their future, they try to change it, and it never works. The gods are worried about something. The gods are worried about something I'll do when I get older, I guess. Something when I turn 16. Emma twisted her Yankees cap in her hands. Percy, I don't know the full prophecy, but it warns about a half-blood child of the big three. The next one who lives to the age of 16. That's the real reason Zeus and Poseidon and Hades swore a pact after World War II. Hello, Emmy! Welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you in here. I don't know if I've seen you before, so if I've seen you before, welcome back. I'm sorry that I'm forgetting who you are, but I haven't seen you before. Welcome in the first time. Read Percy Jackson. We're in chapter 12. So yeah. Are we in chapter 12? We're in chapter 12, right? Hold on, now I gotta check. Yes, we are. Okay, cool. But that is really cool. I don't know the full prophecy, but it warns about a half-blood child of the big three, the next one who lives to the age of 16. That's the real reason Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades swore a pact after World War II, not to have any more kids. The next child of the big three, who reaches 16, will be a dangerous weapon. Why? Because that hero will decide the fate of Olympus. He or she will make the decision that either saves the age of gods or destroys it. Can I stop burping, please? The god of burps is not on my side today, or any day that I stream. I let that sink in. I don't get seasick, but suddenly I felt ill. That's why Kronos didn't kill me last summer. She nodded. You could be very useful to him. If he can get you on his side, the gods will be in serious trouble. But if it's me in the prophecy, we'll only know that if you survive 3 more years. That can be a long time for a half-blood. When Chiron first learned about Thalia, he assumed she was the one in the prophecy. That's why he was so desperate to get her safely to camp. Then she went down fighting and got turned into a pine tree, and none of us knew what to think, until you came along. On our port side, the spiky green dorsal fin, about 15 feet long, curled out of the water and disappeared. This kid in the prophecy, he or she couldn't be like a cyclops, I asked. The big three have lots of monster children. Emma shook her head. The oracle said half-blood. That always means half human, half god. There's really nobody alive who it could be except you. Not even threat of death will improve Zeus's pullout game. That's so true. That's so true. This man is abysmal. He's abysmal at it. You're right. You're right. Thanks a lot. Wait. There's really nobody alive who it could be except you. Then why do the gods even let me live? It would be safer to kill me. You're right. Thanks a lot. Percy, I don't know. I guess some of the gods would like to kill you, but they're probably afraid of offending Poseidon. Other gods Other gods, maybe they're still watching you, trying to decide what kind of hero you're going to be. You could be a weapon for their survival, after all. The real question is, what will you do in 3 years? What decision will you make? Did the prophecy give any hints? Annabeth hesitated. Maybe she would have told me more, but just then, a seagull swooped down out of nowhere and landed on our makeshift mast. Annabeth looked startled as the bird dropped a small cluster of leaves into her lap. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. I really like this prophecy. It's just cool. I had a rant about prophecies that I hate them because it it basically says the journey will be fine. But this prophecy is like, if it's 2 ifs. If Percy makes it to 16, if a child of the eldest gods makes it to 16, then maybe they will be given the chance. No, if the child of the eldest gods reaches 16, then one of them will decide the fate of Olympus. This is what has, and it will be to destroy or preserve it. That's crazy. I love that prophecy. That's so dope. Yeah. Land, she said. There's land nearby. I sat up. Sure enough, there was a line of blue and brown in the distance. Another minute, and I could make out an island with a small mountain in the center, a dazzling white collection of buildings, a beach dotted with palm trees, and harbor filled with strange assortment of boats. The current was pulling our rowboat toward what looked like a tropical paradise. Welcome, said the lady with the clipboard. What? She looked like a flight attendant. Blue business suit, perfect makeup, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She shook our hands as we stepped onto the deck. With a dazzling gleam she gave us, you would have thought we'd just gotten to the Princess Andromeda rather than a banged-up rowboat. Then again, our boat wasn't the weirdest ship in the port. Along with a bunch of pleasure yachts, there was a U.S. Navy submarine, several dugout canoes, and an old-fashioned 3-mast sailed ship. There was a helipad with a Channel 5 Fort Lauderdale helicopter on it, and a short runway with a Learjet and a propeller plane that looked like a World War II fighter. Maybe they were replicas for tourists to look at or something. Is this your first time with us? The clipboard lady inquired. Annabeth and I exchanged looks. Annabeth said, first time at spa? The lady said as she wrote on her clipboard. Let's see. She looked us up and down critically. An herbal wrap to start for the young lady, and of course, a complete makeover for the young gentleman. A what? She was too busy jotting down notes to answer. Right, she said, with a breezy smile. Well, I'm sure Cece will want to speak with you personally before the luau. Come, please. Now, here's the thing. Annabeth and I were used to traps, and usually those traps looked good at first. So I expected the clipboard lady to turn into a snake or a demon or something any minute. The other... But on the other hand, we'd been floating in a rowboat for most of the day. I was hot, tired, and hungry, and when this lady mentioned the luau, my stomach sat up on its hind legs and begged me like a dog. I guess it couldn't hurt, and Annabeth muttered, Jesus Christ, man. Percy, dude, just kill her and take this shit. Of course it could, but we followed the lady anyway. I kept my hands in my pocket where I'd stashed my only magic defense, Hermes' multivitamins and Riptide. But the farther we wandered into the resort, the more I forgot about them. Is this another Lotus Casino? Makes you question how the Oracle sees prophecies. Is it like multiple potential events or vague images that it interprets? That is a really interesting question. What does the Oracle see herself? What is it? Yeah. The place was amazing. There was white marble and blue water everywhere. I looked. Terraces climbed up the side of the mountain with swimming pools on every level, connected by water slides and waterfalls and underwater tubes you could swim through. Fountains sprayed water into the air, forming impossible shapes like flying eagles and galloping horses. Tyson loved horses, and I knew he'd love those fountains. Of course he does. Son of Poseidon. I almost turned around to see the expression on his face before I remembered Tyson was gone. You okay, Annabeth asked. You look pale. I'm okay, I lied. Just let's keep walking. We passed all kinds of tame animals. A sea turtle napped in napped in a stack of beach towels. A leopard stretched out asleep on the diving board. The resort guests only young women as far as I could see. Lounge in deck chairs, drinking fruit smoothies or reading magazines while herbal gunk dried on her face and manicurists in white uniform did their nails. As we headed up a staircase toward what looked like the main building, I heard a woman singing. Her voice, "What is this place? Is another Lotus Casino?" Her voice drifted through the air like a lullaby. Her words were in some language other than ancient Greek. Can I stop burping, please? Please? But just as old Minoan... other than ancient Greek, just as old. Minoan, maybe? Or something like that? I could understand what she sang about. Moonlight in the olive gardens, the color of the sunrise, and magic. Something about magic. Her voice seemed to lift me up off the steps and carry me toward her. We came into a big room where the whole front wall was windows. The back wall was covered in mirrors, so the room seemed to go on forever. There was a bunch of expensive-looking white furniture, and on a table in one corner was a large wire pet cage. The cage seemed out of place, but I didn't think about it too much because just then I saw the lady who'd been singing, and whoa! She sat at the loom the size of a big screen TV, her hands weaving colored thread back and forth with amazing skill. The tapestry shimmered like it was three-dimensional. Was this Aphrodite? Why is he woeing? Also, I didn't know woe was spelled like that. Is that... I'm pretty sure that's spelled improperly, but whatever. Call publisher. Okay. The tapestry shimmered like it was three-dimensional. A waterfall scene so real, I could see the water moving in clouds drifting across a fabric sky. Annabeth caught her breath. "It's beautiful." The woman turned. She was even prettier than her fabric. Her long, dark hair was braided with threads of gold. She had piercing green eyes, and she wore a silky black dress with shapes that seemed to move in the fabric. Animal shadows, black upon black, like deer running through a forest at night. You appreciate weaving, my dear?" the woman asked. "Oh, yes, ma'am," Annabeth said. "My mother is..." She stopped herself. "You couldn't just go around announcing that your mom is Athena, the goddess who invented the loom. Most people would look at you, would lock you in a rubber room." Osha just smiled. "You have good taste, my dear. I'm so glad you've come to see me. My name is Cece." The fuck is Cece? The animals in the corner cage started squealing. They must have been guinea pigs. From the sound of them, we introduced ourselves to Cece. She looked over with a twinge of disapproval. Where was I? Twinge of disapproval. Where's that word? Disapproval. Okay. As if I'd failed some kind of test. I felt bad for some reason. I really wanted to please this lady. "Oh dear," she sighed. "You do need my help." "Ma'am?" I asked. Cece called to the lady in the business suit. "Hilla, take Annabeth on a tour, will you? Show her what we have available. The clothing will need to change, and the hair. My goodness. We will do a full image consultation after I've spoken with this young gentleman. Is this Aphrodite?" But Annabeth's voice sounded. "What's wrong with my hair?" Cece smiled benevolently. "My dear, you are lovely, really, but you are not showing off yourself or your talents at all. So much wasted potential. Wasted." "Well, surely you're not happy by the way you are." "My goodness, there's not a single person who is. But don't worry, we can improve anyone here at the spa. Hill will show you what I mean. You, my dear, need to unlock your true self. What the fuck?" Annabeth's eyes glowed with longing, but I'd never seen her so much at a loss for words. "But what about Percy?" "Oh, definitely," Cece said, giving me a sad look. "Percy requires my personal attention. He needs much more work than you, damn, felt." Normally, somebody told me that, I would have gotten angry, but when Cece said it, I felt sad. I disappointed her. I had to figure out how to do better. The guinea pigs squealed like they were hungry. "Well," Annabeth said. God damn it. "I suppose, right this way, my dear," Hilla said, and Annabeth allowed herself to be led away into the waterfall laced garden of the spa. Cece took my arm and guided me toward the mirrored wall. You see, Percy, to unlock your potential, you'll need serious help. The first step is admitting that you're not happy the way you are. What the fuck? I fidgeted in front of the mirror. I hated thinking about my appearance, like the first zit that cropped up on my nose at the beginning of the school year, or the fact that my two front teeth weren't perfectly even. Bro felt that my hair never stayed down straight. Cece's voice brought all of these things to mind, as if she were passing me under a microscope, and my clothes were not cool. I knew that. Who cares? Part of me thought. We're standing in front of Cece's mirror. It was hard to see anything good in myself. Then, Cece consoled. How about we try this? She snapped her fingers, and a sky blue curtain rolled down over the mirror. It shimmered like fabric on her loom. What do you see? Cece asked. I looked at the blue cloth. Not sure what she meant. But it changed colors. I saw a reflection. But I saw myself, a reflection, but not a reflection. Shimmering there on the cloth was a cooler version of Percy Jackson. With just the right clothes, confident smile on my face, my teeth were straight, no zits, a perfect tan, more athletic, maybe a couple of inches taller. It was me without the faults. Whoa, I managed. Do you want that? Cece asked, or shall I try a different? No, I said, that's amazing. Can you really? Damn, man. What is this chapter? What is happening right now? I can give you a full makeover, Cece promised. What's the catch? I said. I have to, eat a special diet. Oh, it's quite easy, Cece said. Plenty of fresh fruit, a mild exercise program, and of course, this. Did you forget that you're on a time crunch, Percy? She stepped over her wet bar and filled a glass with water. Then she ripped open a drink mix packet and poured in some red powder. The mixture began to glow. When it faded, the drink looked just like a strawberry milkshake. One of these substituted for a regular meal. She said, I guarantee you'll see results immediately. How is that possible? She laughed. Why question it? I mean, don't you want the perfect you right away? Something nagged at the back of my mind. Why are there no guys at this spa? Oh, but there are, Cece assured. You'll meet them quite soon. Just try the mixture. You'll see. Do not drink that shit, Percy. Do not drink that shit. I looked at the blue tapestry at the reflection of me. But not me. Now, Percy, Cece chided. The hardest part of the makeup process is giving up control. You have to decide, do you want to trust your judgment about what you should be, or my judgment? My throat felt dry. I heard myself say, your judgment. Cece smiled and handed me the glass. I lifted it to my lips. It tasted just like it looked. Like a strawberry milkshake. Almost immediately, warm feeling spread through. Don't drink it! This warm feeling spread through my gut. Pleasant at first, then painfully hot, searing as if the mixture was coming to a boil inside of me. I doubled over and dropped the cup. What's happening? Don't worry, Princess, he said. The pain will pass. Look, as I promised, immediate results. Something was wrong. The curtain dropped away, and in the mirror I saw my hand shriveling, curling, growing long, delicate claws, first spread out on my face, under my shirt, and in every uncomfortable place you can imagine. My teeth felt too heavy in my mouth. What a visual. My clothes were too big, or Cece was getting too small. No, I was shrinking. Getting too tall. In one awful flash, I sank into a cavern of dark cloth. I was buried in my own shirt. I tried to turn, but hands grabbed me, hands as big as I was. I tried to scream for help, but all that came out of my mouth was, Read! What the fuck? Bro, if I was Percy, I wouldn't even trust a little kid's lemonade stand at this point, much less a friendly spa resort in the middle of the Sea of Monsters. Honestly, dude, what is bro thinking? What the fuck? The giant hand squeezed me around the middle, lifting me into the air. I struggled and kicked with my legs and arms that seemed much too stubby, and then I was staring horrified into the enormous face of Cece. Perfect, her voice boomed. I squirmed in alarm, but she only tightened her grip around my furry belly. See, Percy, you've unlocked your true self. She held me up in the mirror, and what I saw made me scream in terror. Read! What the fuck is making the reach noise? There was Cece, beautiful and smiling, holding a fluffy, buck-toothed creature with tiny claws and in white and orange fur. When I twisted, so did the furry critter in the mirror. I was a guinea pig. Cece said, "Lovely, aren't you? Men are pigs, Percy Jackson. I used to turn them into real pigs, but they were so smelly and large and difficult to keep. Not much different than they were before. Really, guinea pigs are much more convenient. Now come and meet the other men." Damn. Wow. I protested, trying to scratch her, but Cece squeezed me so tight I almost blacked out. "None of that, little one," she scolded, "or I'll feed you to the owls. Go into the cage like a good little pet. Tomorrow, if you behave, you'll be on your way." There was always a classroom in need of a new guinea pig. What the hell? My mind was racing as fast as my tiny little heart. I needed to get back to my clothes, which were lying in a heap of floor. If I could do that, if I could get out Riptide out of my pocket. And what? I couldn't uncap the pen. Even when I did, I couldn't hold the sword. I squirmed helplessly as Cece brought me over to the guinea pig cage and opened the wire door. "Meet my discipline problems, Percy." Meet my discipline problems, Percy, she warned, "and they'll never make good classroom pets. But they teach you some manners. Most of them have been in this cage for 300 years. If you don't want to stay with them permanently, I'd suggest you..." Annabeth's voice called, "Miss Cece?" Cece cursed in ancient Greek. She plopped me into the cage and closed the door. I squealed and clawed at the bars, but it was no good. I watched Cece hurriedly. "Who the fuck is Cece? Who is this bitch? Who are you?" Hurriedly kicked my clothes under the loom, just as Annabeth came in. I almost didn't recognize her. She was wearing a sleeveless silk dress, like Cece's only white. Her blonde hair, black hair, was newly washed and combed and braided with gold. Worst of all, she was wearing makeup, which I never thought Annabeth would be caught dead in. I mean, she looked good. Really good. I probably would have been tongue-tied if I could have used anything except reet. But there was also something totally wrong about it. It just wasn't Annabeth. She looked around the room and frowned. "Where's Percy?" I squealed up a storm, but she didn't seem to hear me. She smiled. "He's having one of our treatments, my dear. Not to worry. You look wonderful. What did you think of our tour?" Goddamn. Annabeth's eyes brightened. "Your library is amazing." "Yes, indeed," Cece said. "The best knowledge of the past 3 millennia. Anything you want to study, anything you want to be, my dear. An architect? Pah, you said. You, my dear, have the makings of a sorceress, like me." Annabeth took a step back. "A sorceress?" "Yes, my dear." Cece held up her hand. A flame appeared in her palm and danced across her fingertips. "My mother, Hecate, the goddess of magic." "My mother is Hecate. I know a daughter of Athena when I see one. We are not so different, you and I. We're not so different, you and I. We both seek knowledge. We both admire greatness. Neither of us needs to stand in the shadow of men." I don't understand. Again, I squealed my best, trying to get Annabeth's attention. But either she couldn't hear me, or didn't think the noises were important. Meanwhile, the other guinea pigs were emerging from their hutch to check me out. I didn't think it was possible for guinea pigs to look mean, but these did. There were half a dozen with dirty fur and cracked teeth and beady red eyes. They were covered with shavings and smelled like they really had been in there for 300 years without getting their cages cleaned. "Stay with me," Cece was telling Annabeth. "Study with me. You can join our staff, become a sorceress, learn to bind others to your will. You will become immortal, but you are too intelligent, my dear. You know better than to trust that silly camp for heroes. How many great female half-blood heroes can you name? Atalanta, Amelia Earhart." "Amelia Earhart's a half-blood? Bah! Men get all the glory." Cece closed her fist and extinguished the magic flame. The only way to power for women is sorcery. Medea, Calypso. Now there were powerful women, and me, of course, the greatest of all. You, Cece. Circe! Yes, my dear. Circe. Annabeth backed up, and Circe laughed. You need not worry. I mean you no harm. What have you done to Percy? Only helped him realize his true form. Annabeth scanned the room. Finally, she saw the cage. And me scratching the bars. All the other guinea pigs crowded around me. Her eyes went wide. Forget him, Cersei said. Join me and learn the ways of sorcery. But your friend will be well cared for. He will be shipped to a wonderful new home on the mainland. The kindergartners will adore him. Meanwhile, you'll be wise and powerful. You have all you ever wanted. Annabeth was still staring at me, but she had a dreamy expression on her face. She looked the same way I had when Cersei injected me into drinking the guinea pig milkshake. I squealed and scratched, trying to warn her to snap out of it, but I was absolutely powerless. Let me think about it, Annabeth murmured. Just give me a minute alone to say goodbye. Of course, my dear, Cersei cooed. 1 minute. Oh, and so you have absolute privacy. She waved her hand, and iron bars slammed down on over the windows. She swept over the room, and I heard the locks in the door click shut behind her. The dreamy look melted off Annabeth's face. She rushed over to my cage. All right, which one is you? I squealed, but so did all the other guinea pigs. And Annabeth looked so desperate. She scanned the room and spotted the cup of jeans sticking out from under the loom. Yes! She rushed over and rummaged through my pockets, but instead of bringing out Riptide, she found the bottle of Hermes multivitamins and started struggling with the cap. I wanted to scream at her that this wasn't the time for taking supplements. She had to draw the sword. She popped the lemon chewable in her mouth. Just as the door flew open, Cersei came back in, flanked by the two of her business-suited attendants. Well, Cersei sighed, how fast a minute passes. What is your answer, my dear? This, Annabeth said. She drew her bronze knife. Sorcerer stepped back, but her surprise quickly passed. She sneered, "Really, little girl, a knife against my magic? Is that wise?" Cersei looked back at her attendants, who smiled. They raised their hands as if preparing to cast a spell. "Run!" I wanted to tell Annabeth, but all I could make were rodent noises. The other guinea pigs squealed in terror and scuttled around the cage. I had the urge to panic and hide too, but I had to think of something. I couldn't stand to lose Annabeth the way I'd lost Tyson. What will Annabeth's makeover be? Cersei mused. Something small and ill-tempered? I know. A shrew. Blue fire cooled from her fingers, curling like serpents around Annabeth. I watched, horror-struck, but nothing happened. Annabeth was still Annabeth, only angrier. She leaped for Ward and stuck the point of her knife against Cersei's neck. How about turning me into a panther instead? One that has her claws at your throat. This has to be one of my favorite scenes. Hey, welcome in, randomly obsessed. I don't know if I've seen you before, to be honest. I'm sorry if I have, but welcome to the stream. It's nice to have you here. How? Cersei yelled. Annabeth held up my bottle of vitamins for the sorcerer to see. Cersei howled in frustration. Curse Hermes and his multivitamins! Those are such a fad. They do nothing for you. Turn Percy back to human, or else. Annabeth said. I can't. Then you asked for it. Cersei's attendant stepped forward. But their mistress said, Get back! She's immune to magic until that cursed vitamin wears off. Annabeth dragged Cersei over to the guinea pig cage and knocked the top off. She poured the rest of the vitamins inside. No! Cersei screamed. I was the first to get a vitamin, but all the other guinea pigs scuttled out too, and checked out this new food. The first nibbled, and I felt all fiery inside. I gnawed the vitamin until it stopped looking so huge. The cabinet got smaller, and then suddenly, bang! The cage exploded. I was sitting on the floor, a human again, somehow back in my regular clothes. Thank the gods! And with six other guys, who all looked disoriented, blinking and shaking wood shavings out of their hair. No! Cersei screamed. You don't understand! Those are the worst! Those are the worst! One of the men stood up, a huge guy with a long, tangled, pitch black beard and teeth the same color. He wore mismatched clothes of wool leather, knee-length boots, and a floppy felt hat. The other men were dressed more simply, in breeches and stained white shirts. All of them were barefoot. Ugh! Bellowed the big men. What's this witch done to me? No, Cersei moaned. Annabeth gasped. I recognize you. Edward Teach, son of Ares. This is Blackbeard, right? I guessed that from the second he said black hair and black teeth. And he said Teach. This has got to be Blackbeard, right? Imagine 300 years of leveling the magic skill tree, only to get hard countered by two 13-year-olds with multivitamin. That's so true. You'll love to see it. This is so great. I mean, listen, God powers dubs are all. Dubs overall. Yeah, but Edward teaches some Aries. Aye, lass, the big man growled. Thou most call me Blackbeard. Blackbeard is in Percy Jackson. As a One Piece fan, I'm going to lose my mind. There's no way, dude. And there's the sorceress. What captured us, lads? Run through her, and then I mean to find me a big bowl of celery. Cersei screamed, and she had her attendants ran through the room, chased by the pirates. Annabeth sheathed her knife and glared at me. Thanks, I faltered. I'm really sorry. Before I could figure out how to apologize for being such an idiot, she tackled me with a hug, and pulled away just as quickly. I'm glad you're not a guinea pig. Me too. I hope my face wasn't as red as it felt. She undid the golden braids in her hair. Come on, Seaweed Branch, she said. We have to get away from Cersei while Cersei's distracted. We ran down the hillside, through the terraces past, screaming spa workers and pirates ransacking the resort. Blackbeard's men broke the tiki torches from the luau, threw herbal wraps into the swimming pool, and kicked over tables of sauna towels. I almost felt bad letting the unruly pirates out, but I guess they deserved something more entertaining than an exercise wheel after being cooped up in a cage for 3 centuries. Which ship? Annabeth said as we reached the docks. I looked around desperately. We couldn't very well take our rowboats. We had to get off the island fast. But what else could we use? A sub? A fighter jet? I couldn't pilot any of those things. And then I saw it. There! I said. Annabeth blinked. But I can make it work. How? What is it? I couldn't explain. I just somehow knew an old sailing vessel was best bet for me. Son of the sea god. Son of Poseidon. I grabbed Annabeth's hand and pulled her toward the 3-mast ship. Painted on its prow was the name that I would only decipher later. Queen Anne's Revenge. Is that Blackbeard's ship? Blackbeard yelled. Somewhere behind us. Those scallywags are boarded in my vessel. Get 'em, lads! We'll never get going in time. Annabeth yells as we climbed aboard. I looked around at the hopeless maze of sail and ropes. The ship was in a great condition for a 300-year-old vessel, but it would still take a crew of 50 several hours to get underway. We didn't have several hours. Please tell me Blackbeard comes along for the adventure. Pirates running down toward the stairs, waving tiki torches and sticks of celery. I closed my eyes and concentrated on the waves lapping against the hull, the ocean currents, and the winds all around me. Suddenly, the right word appeared in my mind. Mizzenmast, I yelled. I love these water powers for Percy, man. They're so cool. Annabeth looked at me like I was nuts, but in the next second, the air was filled with whistling sound of ropes being snapped taut, canvases unfurling, and wooden pulleys creaking. Annabeth ducked as a cable flew over her head and wrapped itself around the bowsprit. Percy, how? I didn't have an answer, but I could feel the sea respond to me as if it were a part of my body. I willed the sails to rise as easily as if I were flexing my arm. I willed the rudder to turn. The Queen Anne's Revenge lurched away from the dock, and by the time the pirates arrived at the water's edge, we were already underway, sailing into the sea of monsters. Bro, Percy is the strongest person on 70% of this world. Don't fuck with Percy Jackson on 70% of planet Earth, because he will have control of the entire battlefield. Sucks it's not where people live, because he can't win that fight. But still, you know what I mean? It's still crazy. Alright. One more oatmeal cookie break, and then we'll freaking get back to it. Yo, put Percy on the Straw Hat crew, and they find the One Piece so fast. They really would. No. Percy Jackson for Straw Hat, bro. He would actually be the most powerful person in that world. Literally controlling the whole ocean, dude? Nah. Percy Solos. Percy Solos Freaking just lifting the ocean and shit. And it's not even all of his power. I'm so excited to see, like, Percy fully realize his strength. Shit, my headphones fell out on my ear. Crap. Yeah, but I'm really excited to see Percy fully realize his strength, man. That's gonna be so cool. And this was a solid chapter. I was hyped to see Blackbeard as a One Piece fan. I think it's a really cool inclusion. It's just fun. Nothing too special about this chapter. It was an interesting little side quest that I don't really get the point of, to be honest. I wish it had like a theme, like Percy looked the perfect version of himself, and he was like, "I'm perfect the way I am," or whatever. Accept yourself or whatever. But that wasn't the thing. It was just like, it was whatever. It was like a mid chapter, like a 6 out of 10. If Percy's the strongest at 13, imagine how powerful he would be at 16. No wonder the gods are shaking in their boots. I know, right? I'm excited. Yeah. Let's get into this last chapter for the day. Really quickly. Last chapter for the day. Chapter 13. Annabeth tried to swim home. Annabeth tried to swim nowhere. I finally found something I was really good at. The Queen Anne's Revenge responded to my every command. I knew which ropes to hoist, which sails to raise, which direction to steer. We plowed through the waves at what I figured was about 10 knots. I haven't understood how fast that was. For a sailing ship, pretty darn fast. It all felt perfect. The wind in my face, the waves breaking over the prow. But now that we were out of danger, all I could think about was how much I missed Tyson, and how worried I was about Grover. I couldn't get over how badly I'd messed up on Cersei's Island. If it hadn't been for Annabeth, I'd still be a rodent, hiding in a hutch with a bunch of cute furry pirates. I thought about what Cersei said. See, Percy, you've unlocked your true self. Okay, it's coming back. Okay, it's coming back. Hold on. I still felt changed, not just because I had a sudden desire to eat lettuce. I felt jumpy, like the instinct to be a scared little animal was now a part of me. Maybe it had always been there. That's what really worried me. We sailed through the night. Annabeth tried to help me keep lookout, but sailing didn't agree with her. After a few hours, rocking back and forth, her face turned the color of guacamole, and she went below to lie in a hammock. Oh, that's funny. Annabeth gets seasickness. I watched the horizon more than once. I spotted monsters, a plume of water as tall as a skyscraper. A plume of water as tall as a skyscraper spewed into the moonlight. A row of green spines slithered across the waves. Something maybe 100 feet long, reptilian. I didn't really want to know. Once I saw Nereids, ooh, I think I know what he's talking about, actually. Once I saw Nereids, the glowing lady spirits of the sea, I tried to wave at them, but they disappeared into the depths, leaving me unsure whether they'd see me or not. Yeah, because they'd probably bow to him, if they did see him. Sometime after midnight, Annabeth came up on deck. We were just passing a smoking volcano island. The sea bubbled and steamed around the shore. One of the forges of Hephaestus, Annabeth said, where he makes his metal monsters, like the bronze bulls. She said, go around, far around. I didn't need to be told twice. We steered clear of the island, and soon it was just a red patch of haze behind us. I wonder if we'll ever be there at some point in the story. I'd really like to see that island now. Annabeth, the reason you ate Cyclops so much, the story about how Thali really died, what happened? It was hard to see your expression in the dark. I guess you deserve to know, she said finally. The night Grover was escorting us to camp, he got confused, took some wrong turns. Remember he told you that once? I nodded. Well, the worst wrong turn was into a Cyclops' lair in Brooklyn. They got Cyclops in Brooklyn? I asked. You wouldn't believe how many, but that's not the point. This Cyclops tricked us. He managed to split us up inside this maze of corridors in an old house in Flatbush. And he could sound like anyone, Percy, just the way Tyson did aboard the Princess Andromeda.
He lowered us one at a time. Talia thought she was running to save Luke. Luke thought he heard me scream for help. And me, I was alone in the dark. I was 7 years old. I couldn't even find the exit. She brushed the hair out of her face. I remember finding the main room. There were bones all over the floor, and there were Talia and Luke and Grover, tied up and gagged, hanging from the ceiling like smoked hams. A Cyclops was... God, my nose is so itchy. A Cyclops was starting a fire in the middle of the floor. I drew my knife, but he heard me. He turned and smiled. He spoke, and somehow he knew my dad's voice. I guess he just plucked it out of my mind. He said, "Now, Annabeth, don't you worry. I love you. You can stay here with me. Stay forever." I shivered. The way she told it, even now, 6 years later, freaked me out worse than any ghost story I'd ever heard. "What did you do?" "I stabbed him in the foot." I stared at her. "Are you kidding? You were 7 years old and you stabbed a grown Cyclops in the foot? Oh, he would have killed me." But I surprised him. It gave me just enough time to run to Talia and cut the ropes on her hands. She took it from there. "Yeah, but still, that was pretty brave, Annabeth." She shook her head. "We barely got out alive. I still have nightmares, Percy. The way that Cyclops talked in my father's voice, it was his fault. We took so long getting to the camp. All the monsters who've been chasing us had time to catch up. That's really why Thalia died. If it hadn't been for that Cyclops, she'd still be alive today." We sat on the deck, watching Hercules' constellation rise in the night sky. "Go below," Annabeth told me at last. "I need some rest." I nodded. My eyes were heavy. When I got below, I found a hammock. It took me a long time to fall asleep. I kept thinking about Annabeth's story. I wondered if I were her, would I have had enough courage to go on this quest to sail straight through the lair of another Cyclops? I didn't dream about Grover. Instead, I found myself back in Luke's stateroom aboard the Princess Andromeda. The curtains were open. It was nighttime outside. The air swirled with the shadows. Voices whispered all around me. Spirits of the dead. "Beware," they whispered. There. If only Percy had 2 brain cells shoved together and realized you shouldn't trust anyone who has been nice to him for 2 seconds. Yeah, that's true. "Beware," they whispered. "Traps, trickery." Kronos' golden sarcophagus glowed faintly, the only source of light in the room. A cold laugh startled me. It seemed to come from miles below the ship. "You don't have the courage, young one. You can't stop me." I knew what I had to do. I had to open that coffin. I uncapped Riptide. Ghosts whirled around me like a tornado. "Beware." My heart pounded. I couldn't make my feet move, but I had to stop Kronos. I had to destroy whatever was in that box. And then a girl spoke right next to me. "Well, Seaweed Brain?" I looked over, expecting to see Annabeth. But the girl wasn't Annabeth. She wore punk-style clothes with silver chains on her wrists. She had spiky black hair, dark eyeliner around her stormy blue eyes, and a spray of freckles across her face. She looked familiar, but I wasn't sure why. "Well," she asked, "are we going to stop him or not?" I couldn't answer. I couldn't move. The girl rolled her eyes. "Fine, leave it to me." "Aegis!" She tapped her wrist, and her silver chains transformed, flattening and expanding into a huge shield. It was silver and bronze. The monstrous face of Medusa protruding from the center. It looked like a death mask, as if the Gorgon's real head had been pressed into the metal. God, why does my nose feel like this? I didn't know if it was true, or if the shield could really petrify me, but I looked away. Just being near it made me feel cold with fear. I got a feeling that in a real fight, the bearer of that shield would be almost impossible to beat. Any sane enemy would turn and run. The girl drew her sword and advanced on the sarcophagus. The shadowy ghosts parted for her, scattering before the terrible aura of her shield. "No!" I tried to warn her, but she didn't listen. She marched straight up, to the sarcophagus and pushed aside the golden lid. For a moment she stood there, gazing down at whatever was in the box. The coffin began to glow. "No!" The girl's voice trembled. "It can't be!" From the depths of the ocean, Kronos laughed so loudly the whole ship trembled. "No!" The girl screamed as the sarcophagus engulfed her in a blast of golden light. Ah! I sat bolt upright in the hammock. Annabeth was shaking me. "Percy, you were having a nightmare. You need to get up." What was it? I rubbed my eyes. "What's wrong?" "Land," she said grimly. "We're approaching the island of the sirens." What? Ooh, sirens. Sirens are crazy. I love sirens. I could barely make out the island ahead of us, just a dark spot in the mist. "I want you to do me a favor," Annabeth said. "The sirens will be in range of their singing soon." I remembered stories about the sirens. They sang so sweetly, their voices enchanted sailors and lured them to their death. "No problem," I assured. We can just stop up our ears. There's a big tub of candle wax below deck. "I want to hear them." I blinked. Why? What the heck? They say sirens sing the truth about what you desire. They tell you things about yourself you didn't realize. That's what's so enchanting. Bro, this man always is writing fire. "If you survive, you become wiser. I want to hear them. How often will I get the chance?" That chant. Coming from most people, this would have made no sense. But Annabeth, being who she was, well, if she could struggle through ancient Greek architecture books and enjoy documentaries on the History Channel, I guess the sirens would appeal to her too. Actually, that would appeal to me. Actually, I'd want to do the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. I want to be like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna hear this shit. You pull me out, okay?" As soon as the rocky coastline of the island came into view, I ordered one of the ropes to wrap around Annabeth's waist, tying her to the foremast. "Don't untie me," she said. "No matter what happens or how much I plead, I want to go straight over the edge and drown myself." "Are you trying to tempt me?" I promised I'd keep her secure. Then I took 2 large wads of candle wax, kneaded them into earplugs, and stuffed my ears. Annabeth nodded sarcastically, letting me know the earplugs were a real fashion statement. I made a face at her and turned to the pilot's wheel. The silence was eerie. I couldn't hear anything but the rush of blood to my head. As we approached the island, jagged rocks loomed out of the fog. I willed the Queen Anne's revenge to skirt around them. If we sailed any closer, those rocks would shred our hull like blender blades. I don't learn more too. Exactly, right? Like, tell me what I truly want. Please, tell me. Girls tweaking. "We have already taken too many side quests. Go over probably on his honeymoon by now." Yeah, we are getting distraction after distraction, bro. Like, let's a rescue arc. We gotta get there, bro. We gotta rescue Grover, my dude. Okay, that's black. At first, Annabeth seemed totally normal. Then she got a puzzled look on her face. Her eyes widened. She straightened against the ropes. She called my name. I could just tell from reading her lips. Her direction was clear. She had to get out. This was life or death. I had to get her out of the ropes right now. She seemed so miserable. It was hard not to cut her free. I forced myself to look away. I urged the Queen Anne's Revenge to go faster. I still couldn't see much of the island. Just mist and rocks. But floating in the water were pieces of wood and fiberglass, the wreckage of the old ships, even some flotation cushions from airplanes. How could music cause so many lives to veer off course? Yeah. I mean, sure, there were some top 40 songs that made me want to take a fiery nosedive, but still, what could the sirens possibly sing about? I know, I need to hear that shit. For one dangerous moment, I understood Annabeth's curiosity. I was tempted to take out the earplugs, just to get a taste of the song. I could feel the sirens' voices vibrating in the timbers of the ship, pulsing along with the roar of blood in my ears. Annabeth was pleading with me. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She strained against the ropes as if they were holding her back. And everything she cared about. How could you be so cruel? She seemed to be asking me. I thought you were my friend. Ah. By the time they get there, Grover's just cleaning the house. There's pictures of the wedding, etc. It'd be crazy. I guarded the Misty Island. I wanted to uncap my sword, but there was nothing to fight. How do you fight a song? I tried hard not to look at Annabeth. I managed it for about 5 minutes. That was my big mistake. When I couldn't stand it any longer, I looked back, found a heap of cut ropes, an empty mass, Annabeth's bronze knife laying on the deck. Somehow she managed to wriggle it into her hand. I totally forgotten to disarm her. I rushed to the side of the boat and saw her, paddling madly for the island. The waves carrying her straight forward, the jagged rocks. I screamed her name, but if she heard me, it didn't do any good. She was entranced, swimming toward her death. I looked back at the pilot's wheel and yelled, "Stay!" Then I jumped over the side. I sliced over the water and willed the currents to bend around me, making a jet stream that shot me forward. Bruv! Percy is literally being Jesus. He's doing a Jesus right now. This is so hard. I came to the surface and spotted Annabeth, but a wave caught her, sweeping her between two razor-sharp fangs of rock. I had no choice. I plunged after her. I dove under the wrecked hull of a yacht, wove through a collection of floating metal balls on chains that I realized after were mines. I had to use all my power over water to avoid getting smashed against the rocks or tangled in the nets of barbed wire strung just below the surface. I jetted between the two rock fangs and found myself in a half moon-shaped bay. The water was choked with more rocks and shipwreckage and floating mines. The beach was black, volcanic sand. I looked away desperately. Hold on, let me read the description again. I had no choice. I plunged after her. I sliced into the water and willed the currents to bend around me, making a gesture that shot me forward. I came to the surface and spotted Annabeth, but a wave caught her, sweeping her between the two razor-sharp fangs of the rock. Dude, just look at the ocean, or just be like, just do this. just be like, ocean, bring her back. Like, I saw Percy Jackson and ran over here. I love to see it. Nice to have you in this stream. I'm sleep deprived. I don't know if I've seen you before, but welcome in. Nice to have you. I had to use all my power. 1 second. Yeah. I had no choice. I plunged after her. I drove under. I'm reading this again because I didn't browse this the first time. I dove under the wrecked hull of the yacht, wove through a collection of floating metal balls and chains that I realized afterward mines. I had to use all my power over water to avoid getting smashed against the rocks or tangled in the nets of barbed wire strung just below the surface. I jetted between the two rock fangs and found myself in a half moon-shaped bay. The water was choked with more rocks and shipwreckage and floating mines. The beach was black volcanic sand. I looked around desperately for Annabeth. There she was. Luckily or unluckily, she was a strong swimmer. She made it past the mines and the rocks. She was almost to the black beach. The mist cleared and I saw them. The sirens. Yeah. Imagine a flock of vultures the size of people with dirty black plumage, gray talons, and wrinkled pink necks. Now imagine humans' heads on... What the fuck? Imagine a flock of vultures the size of people with dirty black plumage, gray talons, and wrinkled pink necks. Now imagine human heads on top of those necks, but the humans' heads keep changing. I couldn't hear them, but I could see they were singing. As their mouths moved, their faces morphed into people. I knew my mom, Poseidon, Grover, Tyson, Tyron, and all the people I most wanted to see. You know, they smiled reassuringly, inviting me forward, but no matter what shape they took, their mouths were greasy and caked with remnants of old meals, like vultures they'd been eating with their faces, and it didn't look like they'd been feasting on monster donuts. Yeah, they eat them. I thought sirens were like mermaids, but I guess they're vulture bitches? I don't know. Annabeth swam toward them. I knew I couldn't let her get out of the water. The sea was my only advantage. It had always protected me, one way or another. I propelled myself forward and grabbed her ankle. The moment I touched her, a shock went through my body, and I saw the sirens the way Annabeth must have been seeing them. 3 people sat on a picnic blanket in Central Park. A feast was spread out before them. I recognized Annabeth's dad from photos she showed me, an athletic-looking, sandy-haired guy in his 40s. He was holding hands with a beautiful woman who looked a lot like Annabeth. She was dressed casually in blue jeans and a denim shirt. It's Athena and her dad, and hiking boots. Something about that woman radiated power. I knew that I was looking at the goddess Athena. Next to them sat a young man, Luke. The whole scene glowed in a warm, buttery light. The 3 of them were talking and laughing, and when they saw Annabeth, their faces lit up with delight. Annabeth's mom and dad held out their arms invitingly. Luke grinned and gestured for Annabeth to sit next to him, as if he'd never betrayed us, as if he were still her friend. Behind the trees of Central Park and the city skyline rose, I caught my breath because it was Manhattan, but not Manhattan. It had been totally rebuilt from dazzling white marble, bigger and grander than ever, with golden windows and rooftop gardens. It was better than New York, better than Olympus. I knew immediately that Annabeth had designed it all. She was the architect for a whole new world. She had reunited her parents. She had saved Luke. She had done everything she'd ever wanted. I blinked hard. When I opened my eyes, all I saw were sirens, the ragged vultures with human faces, ready to feed on another victim. I pulled Annabeth back into the surf. I couldn't hear. I'd probably try to touch one of the mines just because you would die. You would die a terrible death, and Grover would be married to Polyphemus, and then he'd find out that he was a satyr, and then he would eat him, and it'd be all your fault because you wanted to blow up. That's exactly what would happen. I couldn't hear, but I could tell she was screaming. She kicked me in the face, but I held on. I willed the currents to carry us into the bay. Annabeth pummeled and kicked me, making it hard to concentrate. She thrashed, so we almost collided with the floating mine. I didn't know what to do. I'd never get back to the ship alive if she kept fighting. We went under and Annabeth stopped struggling. Her expression became confused. Then her head broke the surface, and she started to fight again. The water! Sound didn't travel underwater. If I could submerge her long enough, I could break the spell of music. Of course, Annabeth wouldn't be able to breathe, but at the moment, that seemed like a minor problem. Facts. Yeah, get your priorities right, Percy. She'll breathe later. It's fine. I grabbed her around the waist. Yeah, Percy's like, I guess I'm the only one who can breathe underwater. Lame. Bunch of nerds. I grabbed her around the waist and ordered the waves to push us down. We shot into the depths. 10 feet. 20 feet. I knew I had to be careful because I could withstand a lot more pressure than Annabeth. Ugh, Percy's just getting cooler every book, bro. He's getting cooler. He's getting cooler every chapter, dude. She fought and struggled for breath as bubbles rose around us. Bubbles! I was desperate. I had to keep Annabeth alive. I imagined all the bubbles in the sea, always churning, rising. I imagined them coming together, being pulled toward me. The sea obeyed. There was a flurry of white, a tickling sensation all around me. When my vision cleared, Annabeth and I had a huge bubble of air around us. Only our legs stuck out into the water. Every sentence, this man gets cooler. Every sentence, his powers are more sick. What the fuck? Either way, he breaks the spell. This is true. Damn. She gasped and coughed. Her whole body shuddered. But when she looked at me, I knew the spell had been broken. She stared. She started to sob. I mean, horrible, heartbroken sobbing. She put her head on my shoulder and I held her. Fish gathered to look at us. A school of barracudas. Some curious marlins. Scram! I told them. They swam off, but I could tell they went reluctantly. I swear I understood their intentions. They were about to start rumors flying around the sea of the son of a side and then some girl at the bottom of the Siren Bay. That's so funny. He's literally like cooler Aquaman. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I love Aquaman. I don't think Aquaman's lame, but it's just you never get to see, at least I've never seen a book written from Aquaman's perspective where he's like just telling like the ocean, fuck off, you know? That's just funny. I'll get us back to the ship, I told her. It's okay, just hang on. Annabeth nodded to let me know she was better now. When she murmured something I could hear because of the wax in my ears. I couldn't hear because of the wax in my ears. I made the current steer our weird little air submarine through the rocks and barbed wire and back toward the hull of Queen Anne's Revenge, which was maintaining a slow and steady course away from the island. We stayed underwater, followed the ship until I judged we had moved out of the earshot of the sirens. Then I surfaced and our air bubble popped. I ordered a rope ladder to drop over the side of the ship, and we climbed aboard. I kept my earplugs in just to be sure. We sailed until the island was completely out of sight. Annabeth sat, huddled in a blanket, on the forward deck. Finally, she looked up, in dazed and sad mouth safe. I took out the earplugs. No singing. The afternoon was quiet, except for the sound of waves against the hull. The fog had burned away to the blue sky, as if the island of the sirens had never existed. You okay? I asked. And when I said it, I realized how lame that sounded. Of course she wasn't okay. I didn't realize, she murmured. What? What? Her eyes were the same color as the mist over the Siren Islands. How powerful the temptation could be. Duh. Fucking duh, Anna. What did you expect? Oh, we were just silly little guys. We just wanted to see the sirens. What did you expect, Annabeth? I didn't want to admit that I had seen what the sirens had promised her. I felt like a trespasser, but I figured I owed it to Annabeth. I saw the way you rebuilt Manhattan, I told her. And Luke. And your parents. She blushed. You saw that? What Luke told you back on the Princess Andromeda about starting the world from scratch? That really got to you, huh? She pulled her blanket around her. My fatal flaw. That's what the siren showed me. My fatal flaw is hubris, I blinked. That brown stuff they spread on veggie sandwiches. No, that's hummus. She rolled her eyes. No, seaweed brain, that's hummus. Hubris is worse. What could be worse than hummus? Hubris means deadly pride, Percy. Thinking you can do things better than anyone else, even the gods. You feel that way? She looked down. Don't you ever feel like that? What if the world really is messed up? What if we could do it all over again from scratch? No more war. Nobody homeless. No more summer reading homework. I'm listening. I mean, yeah, summer reading. I love how Rick knows that nobody likes summer reading homework. That was the whole point, that no one can resist what they were offering. Exactly. I don't know what she was talking about, bro. What did you expect? Oh, like she was like, oh, that's interesting. Anyways, Percy, let's go on now. I'm listening. I mean, the West represents a lot of the best things mankind ever did. That's why the fire is still burning. That's why Olympus is still around. But sometimes you just see the bad stuff, you know? And you start thinking the way Luke does. If I could tear this all down, I would do it better. Don't you ever feel that way? Like you could do a better job if you ran the world? Yes, I actually do. No. Me running the world would kind of be a nightmare. Then you're lucky. Hubris isn't your fatal flaw. What is? I mean, listen. Me running the world would be fun for me, but not for anybody else. I don't know, Percy. But every hero has one. If you don't find it and learn to control it, well, they don't call it fatal for nothing. Listen, I'm not going to read that message because it started with Percy's fatal flaw. But tell me in a next message if that's not a spoiler. If it is a spoiler, I'm not going to read it because I don't want to know. I want to find out when the book tells me. Or tell me say if it says it's not a spoiler, I'll read it. I thought about that. It didn't exactly cheer me up. I also noticed Annabeth hadn't said much about the personal things she would change. I thought about what she. I thought about that. It didn't exactly cheer me up. I also noticed Annabeth hadn't said much about the personal things she would change, like getting her parents back together or saving Luke. I understood I didn't want to admit how many times I dreamed of getting my own parents back together. I pictured my mom, alone in our apartment on the Upper East Side. I tried to remember the smell of her blue waffles in the kitchen. It seemed so far away. So is it worth it? I asked Annabeth. Do you feel wiser? She gazed into the distance. I'm not sure. but we have to save camp. And Grover. If we don't stop Luke, she didn't eat to finish. If Luke's way of thinking could even tempt Annabeth, there was no telling how many other half-bloods might join him. I thought about my dream. Not a spoiler. I always try my best not to spoil anything. Thank you, okay, I appreciate it. Give me 1 second. I should read it now. Percy's fatal flaw is that despite being a matter of life and death, Percy never takes the time to learn anything about Greek mythology. What? Didn't his mom tell him stories? Isn't that a thing, or is that a thing only in the show? Is that not a thing in the books? So I'm pretty sure that's a thing in the books still. That Percy's mom taught him shit about Greek mythology, and he also learned at camp, right? That's fucking funny though. That's a show only, kind of both. Yeah, that's what I thought. But like, that is still the both things. Despite being a matter of life, it never takes time to learn anything about Greek mythology. Jesus Christ. I thought, yeah. She didn't need to finish. I thought of my dream of the girl in the golden sarcophagus. I wasn't sure what it meant, but I got the feeling I was missing something. Something terrible that Cronus was planning. What had that girl seen when she opened the coffin lid? Suddenly, Annabeth's eyes widened. Percy! I turned. Up ahead was another blotch of land, a saddle-shaped island with forested hills and white beaches and green meadows, just like I'd seen in my dreams. My nautical senses confirmed it. 30 degrees, 31 minutes north, 75 degrees, 12 minutes west. We had reached the home of the Cyclops. Chapter end. And that is where we're going to leave the stream today. Right there at that end. But how does Camp Half-Blood not have Greek mythology class and act like Percy is stupid when he doesn't know anything? Well, wasn't that what he learned in like the first month of being there? Is like Annabeth taught him Greek shit, right? That's what happened? Pretty sure that's what happened. Also, he took Latin class with Mr. Brunner, and he learned Greek stuff there, and I'm pretty sure his mom. So I think Percy does know Greek stuff. I just think when it's hidden, it's hidden. You know what I mean? Like they know. Okay, can we talk about Polyphemus? A full-grown Cyclops wants to marry Grover, who he thinks is also a Cyclops, but the size of Cyclops' child? Oh, yeah. No facts. I mean, listen, in Greek mythology, if you're immortal, man, like, I wouldn't imagine, like, that's just a thing in Greek mythology, right? Like, immortal beings just be hooking up with mortal young beings, or just, like, the whole time, like, freaking Percy's thousands-year-old dad hooked up with his 30-year-old mom, you know what I mean? To him, it's like still a child, basically, you know what I mean? But you have to have a different perspective, I guess, when you're immortal, you know? But that was a freaking great chapter and a really great exploration of Annabeth's character. Cyclops were described as immoral and creepy. That too. Really great exploration of Annabeth's character. I really liked it. I'm really sad we only got Clarice for one chapter. I want to see more of Clarice, but I'm sure we'll see her again. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm gonna read a bit more off stream. I'll definitely read the end of the book. So probably the last 2 or 3 chapters on stream after this. But I'm gonna read a bit more of this off stream as well, because I want to get through it more faster, and I don't want to read everything on stream. Yeah, Greek mythology is pretty wild. Like Zeus had disguised himself as an animal to impregnate a woman on multiple occasions. That is wild, for 2 reasons. 1, he disguised himself to unconsensually fuck a woman, but 2, that this woman fucked an animal. He disguised himself as a woman to sleep with his daughter. Bro, Zeus just needs to, like, keep it in his pants, bro. This man is horny with all hell. Like, man is horny on me. If there was a horny jail, he'd be the only prisoner. He'd be the first prisoner. But Sea of Monsters, I'm really liking so far. I usually like the second thing more than the first thing, introduction of a story. So, like, I'm usually like this book 2 or, like, movie 2 or season 2 more than the first one, because it takes the characters that we've already established and explores them on a deeper level. And that's what this book is really doing, and also incorporating some themes in stories and some aspects that I like rescue arcs and all this shit and prophecies and stuff. So this is really dope action, and it's just been really cool. Sea of Monsters is way sicker than I thought it would be. It's way cooler than I thought it'd be, and way cooler than in the movie, man. Just like, what? I really hope they adapt Sea of Monsters as well as they did Lightning Thief, because I think they adapted Lightning Thief basically perfectly. I think, despite what everybody else thinks, I literally watched the show and then read the book immediately after. Like, it's basically the same. Like, it's basically the same thing. Like, so I think if they do it to that quality, and Sea of Monsters is going to be better than the first season. Yeah, exactly. Sequels have to set up the thing, so I can just focus on the characters I already know, and enjoy it. And I'm really freaking liking this. Everything I'm seeing from all the character interactions with Tyson, Clarice, Percy, Annabeth, the exploration of Luke, Hermes, all the action stuff, especially this most recent show. It's so dope. It's so dope, and I can't wait to hear the full prophecy. I kind of know what it is. Something eldest gods reach 16 against all odds, something. But I don't know what it actually is. So I can't wait to figure out what that actually is. But yeah, really freaking fire, really dope. I don't know if I have any more post-chapter thoughts. Let me think for a second while I munch on this cookie. Okay, Sea of Monsters release favorite, not because I see that. I see that. I wonder what will land for me afterwards. After I read them all. Sea of Monsters is very underrated. I wouldn't be surprised. No. I think I've said all I need to say. I'm excited to see more. I can't wait to I gotta go to work a bit. Can't wait to do that. And get back to reading it. And I might be back as early as tomorrow for the final chapters of this and starting the Titan's Curse after that on stream. So if I'm here for that, watch out. I'll probably be doing that tomorrow, to be honest. I might zip through this book because I'll zip through it, read the last couple chapters, and then we'll read the end and read the first chapter of Titan's Curse like I did with the end of Lightning Thief and read the first chapter of Sea of Monsters. So that's what we'll do, probably. My favorite is probably the last book. Yeah, I know a lot of people. I'm definitely going to do a ranking. I know a lot of people like The Last Olympian. So I'm really freaking excited for that one. I'm really freaking excited to finally get there. And see, like, the story, like, come to a head. And, like, all the themes and everything. And I'm also excited to read Heroes of Olympus afterwards. So I've heard a lot of interesting things about Heroes of Olympus. I don't really know much of anything about it. I've heard just a lot of interesting conceptual things, like you see different people's perspectives and stuff. And Percy does a lot of dope shit. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to end the stream for today. Thank you, everybody who joined and everybody who was in chat. Mostly randomly obsessed and Anthony Building. Love you guys both. Freaking make it a lot more fun to read when it's just not me talking out loud and making shitty jokes. So, yeah, I hope to see you guys tomorrow, which I will probably be streaming tomorrow, I'm not going to lie, unless something happens and I don't end up reading the rest of this book, which is honestly unlikely. So, yeah. With that being said, until next time, end the stream, guys. Also, look at other stuff. We do other stuff on the channel sometimes, maybe sometimes. We'll start doing that and streaming more and whatever, but, you know, end the stream. Bye.